For the first time in its brief history, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing will take on the ultra-high banks of the Bristol Motor Speedway. It took 20 years for the real-life World of Outlaws to make their return to Thunder Valley, but as soon as it happened, these sim drivers had to know that they were going to be coming here as well. And for most of these competitors, it's a really big unknown as to what could even unfold here this evening, especially with how this season has played out so far. I'm Chase Rodman, and as always, we call in all the action tonight with Justin Prince. And, well, Justin, my friend, here we are for race number 3, and I would say there's a lot of drivers that are possibly a little bit nervous here for this one tonight.
Absolutely, especially with the difficulties of this racetrack and the unknowns of how this track is going to transition and how these drivers will be able to make some moves. Qualifying has been emphasized as extremely important once more. In fact, the most important qualifying session to some this season. And if you do well here tonight, it sets up some strong momentum to end off the rest of the December side of the schedule with some action and some strong points.
You can see right here a lot of half-mile racetracks up in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, Bristol tonight, Eldora Speedway on December 6th, December 13th to Williams Grove, and then Knoxville. So all of December there, and obviously here tonight, half-mile speedways. Then we go to some smaller racetracks at Cedar Lake, Fairbury, Weedsport, and cap it off with another big racetrack, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I talked about there in the Open, Justin, how crazy it's been so far this season. The first 2 races there at Volusia and Kokomo, won by 2 rookie drivers, Blake Majulis at Volusia and then Evan C. at Kokomo. Now, if we take a look at the point standings here tonight, you can see those drivers have put themselves right there in the thick of things. Obviously, Alex Bergeron, Cameron Merriman have been the most consistent so far, first and second, but there's Majulis and C. 2 of our drivers that are very experienced in World Championship competition on the late model side of things. They're looking good. And how about Logan Rumsey in 5th right now?
Logan Rumsey very quietly having a very strong start to the season with some solid finishes. James Edens has showed some flashes of speed as well. I'm curious about that cutoff line because one of the drivers I don't think either of us expected, Hayden Cardwell, is tied for 15th right now after a very bad start.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are just about ready to get going here tonight for our heat races, and it actually looks like our first heat race is on the racetrack right now. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup for heat race number 1. On the pole is the driver out of Santa Rosa, California, K1 Race Gear Bear Archery Dominator Designs number 52. That is James Edens, and to the outside of him, it's his Swindell Speed Lab teammate, the 00. That's Kendall Tucker out of Mount Airy, North Carolina.
Right behind him in the second row, driving the number 76 machine, it's Braden Shute. Showcase what he can do from that spot. He'll start alongside the winner of the season opener, 127 from Asheville, New York route. It's Blake Majulis.
Row number 3 is we're going to find the driver out of San Jose, California, the LCJ Carpentry, Vanderpool Construction, SpeedShop51.com, number 4. That is Ross Kaiser, and to the outside of him, that's going to be Austin Selman. He's coming to us from Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, the Tony Stewart Racing Scott King Designs number 18.
And for California, a very popular pace and place for drivers to come from, it's Landon Cardoza, who starts in row 4 from that location. J.D. Brown start alongside him, also from the state of California, while Clayton Tilley rounds out the opening heat race field. He's from Australia.
These drivers just about ready to start their first formation lap here tonight. So we can maybe bring up what it's going to be like, how these drivers will score points throughout the night here tonight. The point structure, we talk about it every single week there, Justin. In the heat races, obviously very, very important. 8 points to win one of these heat races, with the 8th place finisher getting 1 point. And then you look over there at the feature points, 70 points to win the main event, and then it drops off 3 points per position thereafter. But once you get outside of the top 10, it drops off 2 points every position, 11th through 20th. So keep that in mind when you're watching these races here tonight. These drivers are going to try and go for a maximum of 78 points here tonight.
See Majulis do so to start off the season, but the counterpart of that is Evan C. having to come from the LCQ to be able to compete for the win at Kokomo. It's still incredible what he was able to do, and keep in mind, he was also someone that had to learn a lot when it comes to the sprint cars, coming from the qualifying series, and to figure out what works and what doesn't work when it comes to these machines. Keep this in mind. Some drivers expecting the gap between that to close entering tonight. We'll see which drivers have picked up the tempo and the pace.
Man, that camera angle right there just shows you how banked it is here on the Bristol dirt. And you mentioned Evan C. right there last week on an unbelievable drive. Won the last chance qualifier and drove from 18th to the win at the Kokomo Speedway. And I don't think we've ever seen a driver come from that deep in the field and get the job done. But it looks like we are just about set to go here for heat race number 1. The pace truck pulls off, and it's going to be the Swindell Speed Lab teammates up front, James Edens and Kendall Tucker. The green flag is out. We're underway here at Bristol.
And a great launch for James Edens, the quickest driver in qualified. He rounds around the top of the racetrack. Looking like a majority of the drivers pouring that top group. 2 drivers make contact at the very back. The rest continue to fight up front.
You remember, it's 10 laps in the heat races. The top 4 drivers will transfer straight on through. 4th place right now is the driver out of Wisconsin, the 18 of Austin Selman. He's trailing the number 127 of Blake Majulis, the winner from round number 1 at Volusia Speedway Park. First car out of a transfer is the number 4 of Ross Kaiser right now.
And talking with a couple of the drivers on their expectations for how this track can progress, they mentioned with it being such quick speeds around Bristol Motor Speedway, it can be difficult to try and build up a run, especially once it slickens off. So for some of these drivers, the urgency has to be high to be able to take advantage of any mistakes that pop up from competitors. No mistakes from the top 4 so far.
Last lap, James Edens with a 13.837 second lap time, nearly hitting 150 miles per hour at the end of the straightaway. As you can see, the track's still lightning quick right now, but you can see right there in the middle of the track, just below where the drivers are running, Justin, that's where the slick part of the speedway's at, and that will get wider and wider and slicker as the night goes on, which will make it a lot more technical to get around this speedway, especially going as fast as they are. Looks like we might have a battle for the third spot, I should say, start to brew between the 127 of Majulis and the 18 of Selman. Selman, you don't want to be on that bubble spot, Justin, because you never know what can happen behind you. Maybe a dive bomb maneuver in the last corner could take you out.
Exactly. With 3 laps to go this time by, a lot can change when it comes to these positions. Majulis trying to run the very top all along the outside wall, trying to find any sort of rhythm to get back going. Majulis seems to be struggling a little bit now compared to just a few laps ago on that top group.
2 laps to go that time by for James Edens, and now look at Majulis, 4 in the fluff right there, and 1 and 2 actually pulls away a little bit from the 18 of Austin Selman. But remember back to Bristol in real life with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series, and it kind of looked just like this. These guys are running, middle to top part of the racetrack for a majority of those races earlier this year in real life. So this is looking pretty similar to what we saw a couple of months ago as we got the checkered flag coming out this time by. Your race winner is going to be the 52 car of James Edens. He will transfer straight to the feature along with the 00 of Kendall Tucker. 3rd spot to the 127 of Blake Majulis. 4th to the 18 of Austin Selman. And then in 5th, Ross Kaiser, then Clayton Tilley, Braden Shute, J.D. Brown, and Landon Cardoza. Now we get set to go for our second heat race. Remember, there are 4 heats here tonight, and this is how they're going to line up for heat race number 2. On the pole out of Hamilton Township, New Jersey, the Rocket Racing setup, Slick Apparel, Gross Designs, number 48, that's going to be Dylan Yeager. And to the outside of Hempron, Tracy, California, the Swindell Speed Lab, K1 Race Gear, Victory Fuel, number 74, it's Adam Elby.
Right in row number 2, driver for Elbows Up Sim Sport from Millersburg, Pennsylvania, it's Tyler Rochelle. Just alongside one of the drivers who have been having one of the better starts of the season, top 5 of the points. From Manchester, Pennsylvania, for Slick Sim Sport, it's Logan Rumsey.
Row 3 to the inside, that's where you're going to find the driver out of Charlotte, North Carolina, the Rocket Racing setups, BG Products, Mechanics Tire and Auto of Locust, North Carolina, number 7 car. That's Carlin Cure. And to the outside of him, out of Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia, the Syndit Sim Sports, Hobbs Trenching and Boring, Weston Machine Shop, number 50 car. That's going to be Clayton Davies.
From Auburn, Washington, it's the Silent Assassin, Lane Stevens for SSR Elite Sim Racing. Braden Eiler. Elbows Up Sim Sport will drive from Franklin, Pennsylvania, from the 8th spot. David Allen rounds out the field. He's from Dover, Pennsylvania, and drives for Dave Allen Motorsports.
Our first pace lap here. Actually, we're on our second pace lap. Pace truck will pull off at turn number 4 the next time by. Your front row, Dylan Yeager, another one of those rookie drivers that we seem to be talking about quite a bit this season, Justin. Obviously, we had, close, I would say, over 20 rookies or close to it coming into the season, and they have been very impressive, winning both of the first 2 races so far. We talked about Majulis, we talked about C. Could Dylan Yeager maybe possibly be a rookie winner once again? Remember how good he was at Kokomo Primo last week. He was a lap down, but drove his way from the tail into the top 5. Unfortunately, like I said, he was a lap down, but he was very, very fast and showed a lot of speed.
If anything, he followed the exact line of Evan C to a T and was, if not, a little bit quicker than him at some point. It's just a matter of making sure there's no contact, make sure you stay out of trouble. If he can do that tonight, Dylan Yeager has a decent shot with the speed he showcased.
Yeah, Dylan Yeager, definitely one of the up-and-coming drivers here in the Pro Series. The pace truck is off, and Yeager's going to get on the gas, and he will drive away from the 74 of Adam Elby down the front straightaway, side-by-side for third. Give it to the 41 of Logan Rumsey. Tyler Schell trying to find a home on the top of the racetrack. He gets right in front of Clayton Davies, is into a transfer position, but now we got a race going on for fifth. Carlin Cure to the inside of Davies. They get together. Davies squirrely off the corner, but hangs on to it.
A crazy, crazy start in these first couple laps so far for some of these drivers currently as they run through the middle top grooves. I'll be holding on to that second spot, looking towards Cure, trying to find a way to close back up that gap between him and Tyler Schell, separated by about 3 car lengths.
Got a good race going on for the race lead. You see Dylan Yeager trying to run the slider line. He starts on the inside of the corner, exits on the top. Adam Elby closing in just a little bit here. Elby's in that 74 car for Swindell Speed Lab, and then you talked about him. The 41 of Logan Rumsey comes into the night 5th in the championship standings, right there behind both of them in 3rd.
Take a look at that line, though. Dylan Yeager's trying to change things up. Use the bottom and slide up towards the top through 3 and 4. It is a little bit more tighter towards that part of the racetrack. Trying to experiment, see what works. Try and find anything that may give him an advantage to try and pull away.
Yeah, maybe trying some stuff for later on in the feature event as well, Justin. Going to try that inside groove and see if it works. And if it does, maybe save that for later on tonight during that 35-lap main event. Up front, though, like we mentioned, still Yeager with the lead, but Elby definitely keeping him honest. Only about a car length behind him as they work down the back straightaway with 4 to go.
And right now, Tyler Schell seeing exactly what he wants to see. How about a battle hard for 5th position? Back and forth with slide job after slide job. Here dropping back to 6th. Contact for Eiler into the wall.
Yeah, he is in front of Carlin Cure. He made that pass the last time by. We'll see if Cure can get back up on the horse and track it back down 2 laps ago that time by for Elby. Here comes Cure, going to try and work the inside of the speedway. First guy we've seen run the bottom, and it worked pretty well right there, Justin. I feel like he actually made some ground down there.
Cure found something, I think, right to the very inside. He nearly finds that something right into the side of Eiler's car. White flag is out, final lap. This is not the bubble position, mind you, but Cure may be giving some people notes.
Checkered flag is up in the air, and it's going to be the 48 of Dylan Yeager winning heat race number 2. Adam Elby will finish in 2nd, Logan Rumsey in 3rd. Tyler Schell, final transfer out of heat race number 2. And then we've got the 5th place car of Braden Eiler, then Carlin Cure, David Allen, Clayton Davies, and Lane Stevens. 5 laps down will finish up in the 9th position. Now, getting set to go for heat race number 3. And on the pole this one, out of Rocheport, Missouri, the Tiger Towing, Stuart House, Trent Pullman Designs number 86. That's going to be Timothy Smith. To the outside, currently 2nd in the championship point standings out of Ellicott City, Maryland. It's the House of Hair Motorsports number 17 of Cameron Merriman.
From Drummondville, Quebec, multiple-time series champion, it's Alex Bergeron starting in the 3rd position. He'll start alongside Aiden Speedy Beerline from Woodford, Virginia.
Row 3 to the inside, 5th starter from Greenfield, Indiana, the SSR Elite Sim Racing, Gray Auto, School of Sim Racing, Personal Evolution Company, number 06. That's going to be Rylan Gray. And to the outside from Naperville, Quebec, Canada, it's the Jim Beaver Esports, Case Clause Joyal, Vision Wheel, number 91. That's Felix Roy.
The second of the drivers in this series from Hanford, California. Starts in this row from Elbows Up Sim Sport, it's Shea Powell. He'll start alongside the cousin to Hayden Cardwell, the number 70. It's Davin Cardwell. And last of the drivers is the Little Hurricane himself from Pittsburgh, Indiana. Black Diamond Motorsports, it's Mason Hannigan.
Now, Justin, I would have to go check the record books, but I would have to believe that Mason Hannigan's father, Randy Hannigan, the Hurricane, a couple of feature wins with the greatest show on dirt in real life. I'd be willing to bet that he actually ran at Bristol Motor Speedway back when the Outlaws did back in 2001. So maybe the Hurricane giving the Little Hurricane some advice to get around this place tonight.
Yeah, I'm curious how much that information will be value-wise. It's, of course, valuable to have the real-world experience. I will say that. But it's also the matter of making sure you get that experience in on how to drive a track such as Bristol with the current setup configurations required to be the quickest around the circuit. It takes a lot of time and effort to be able to be quick, especially when it comes to this type of a racetrack where it's already showed if you make a mistake, you're going to the back.
Yeah, and Mason Hannigan will be starting at the back, so hopefully whatever advice his father gave him, if any, pays off here, because he's going to have to pass at least 5 cars if he wants to transfer straight to the feature event. The green flag is out, and on the throttle up front, it is Timothy Smith with the early jump. Here comes Alex Bergeron to the inside of Cameron Merriman. Remember, Justin, that's the battle for the championship lead, the 17 and the 12 as they work into turn number 3.
And Cameron Merriman's been getting more and more consistent after getting in the podium spots to start off the season. Showed some great speed at Kokomo. He's starting off with some good speed in second. Timothy Smith trying different lines. Timothy Smith nearly into the outside wall. He's pushing so hard.
Yeah, Timothy Smith has shown some signs of greatness throughout the season, but has not been able to put it all together. Right now, if he can win this heat race, he'll start 3rd in the feature event. Currently in the bubble spot on the last transfer, it is the number 13 of Aiden Bierlin. He is followed by Shea Pallow and Rylan Gray. They're all trying to track him down, but Bierlin looks pretty strong early in this one, actually tracking down Bergeron just a little bit.
Your line, you're referring to someone that has shown good speed, keep in mind, in several different iRacing leagues to go toe-to-toe with Alex Bergeron, especially short to mid-run. Starting off very well so far. And keep in mind, battle just outside the transfer spot is intensifying. Same can be said for second.
Yeah, race for second, race for 5th. Down the front straightaway, Rylan Gray's all over the 69 of Shea Pallow into turn number 1. They make some contact off to the corner. Here comes Pallow to the inside, down the back straightaway. He's going to look to the inside. 0-6 up the track, can't make the pass. Nearly a squeeze play right there.
Yeah, they're fighting very hard, knowing how valuable these points are. Coming up towards 3 laps to go. See that scrap going on for 5th on back, Shea Powell. Trying to find anything to close up, all while Rylan Gray is nearly knocking the wall down. He's pushing so hard. Both of them running right up to the wall this time with 2.5 laps to go.
Yeah, Pallow's doing a good job holding off the 0-6 of Rylan Gray. We've got, like you said, 2 to go this time by the stripe. Merriman has pulled away from Bergeron, who now tries the inside of the speedway. Might open the door here for Bierlin. He's not able to track him down the back straightaway, coming around to the white flag. And Timothy Smith, very strong here early on in the night. We'll see if that speed can keep up for the rest of the night here, Justin.
Absolutely. Look at this, though. Merriman playing defensive now. Merriman might have a shot for the race lead here. Here comes the defensive line from Timothy Smith. Bergeron with the send back.
Checkered flag is out across the line. They're going to wreck each other. Your race winner is going to be Timothy Smith, second by 17 one-thousandths of a second. It is Cameron Merriman in second, then Alex Bergeron in third, Aiden Bierlein in fourth, Shea Pallow, Rylan Gray, Mason Hannigan, Davin Cardwell, and Felix Roy, your finishers in heat race number 3. Now getting set to go for heat race number 4, the final heat race of the evening. We'll start like this. On the pole out of Sacramento, California, it's the School of Sim Racing, Whiskey Oval TV, Personal Evolution Company number 0Z. That's Justin Sherman. And to the outside, the most recent winner with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing. He's out of Chesney, South Carolina, the Team VLR, Majula C Speed Shop, Tedder's Isle of Frenchie, CFM Esports number 33. It's Evan C.
In row 2 from Birdsboro, Pennsylvania, should say, the Elbows Up Sim Sport machine tries to say hello to the front of the field. It's Gregory LeMay, one of his best heat starts. And alongside him, driving the number 25 machine for Slick Sim Sport. Once again, in his pink machine, it is Tyler Ducharme from Castleton, Vermont.
Row number 3 is going to line up like this out of Knoxville, Tennessee. It's the House of Speed number 07 of Hayden Cardwell. And to the outside of him, from West St. Paul, Manitoba, Canada, the Velocity Race Design, Weichel Sportswear, Highside Dirt Media, number 21, it's Chris Sebeski.
Then right behind him, number 91 machine, once more for Black Diamond Motorsports from Sherwood, Ohio, it's Ernie Williams Jr. And rounding out the field, and your starters for tonight, driving the number 1 machine, is Jeremy St. Louis. He's from the province of Quebec for Dirt Car Racing Esport.
All these drivers making their way around the speedway here, getting themselves prepared for the final heat race of the night. And Justin Sherman, how about the start for him here in this one? Qualified 4th. That lines him up on the pole of heat race number 4. And I would have to guess, I don't remember Sherman making a feature so far this season throughout the first 2 races. So a pretty good turnaround here for that 0Z car, the driver out of Sacramento, California.
Very stellar qualifying performance indeed from that machine. And I know for that organization, keep in mind, the team he's with are all rookie drivers for the series. That is absolutely huge and an absolute motivation booster when it comes to showcasing. We've figured things out in qualifying. The question is, can he do it in the race?
We'll have to wait and see. We just saw one driver win his first heat race of the season. Let's see if Sherman can keep that trend alive. The green flag is in the air. Sherman with a good start up front. Pulls away from Evan C. side by side for the third spot into turn number 3. 3 wide. Here comes Hayden Cardwell on the inside, trying to get by Gregory LeMay for the 4th spot.
And a great start as several drivers trying to work in that bottom. Hayden Cardwell nearly to the side of Tyler Ducharme's car. Ducharme back up to the high side. Hayden Cardwell is the only driver inside the top 5 using the bottom. One other is trying to follow suit in through that corner at the back of the field. That was St. Louis.
And now Cardwell's up to 3rd. He's trying to make the best of a terrible qualifying effort. The 07 car making some headway on the inside. He's up to 3rd. He passed LeMay. He's passed Ducharme. And now going to try and work on the 2nd place machine of Evan C.
Sherman having a very strong run, still defending well. Cardwell now right towards the back end. The bottom is working its way in very well here. Here comes C for the send. C nearly gets to the side of Sherman. No move yet as Cardwell is boxed in.
And if Evan C. can make the pass here on Sherman, that would be huge. He would start on the outside of row number 2. If he cannot, he will start on the outside of row number 4. So it is very crucial to make at least one pass in the heat race. Here comes Cardwell back to the rear bumper of Evan C.
Still no way for Cardwell to move quite yet. Just past halfway. Tyler Ducharme still holds on to the bubble spot. Greg LeMay trying to change up the top line while 3 of the top 4 drivers using the bottom. A bit of a checkup now. C now uses the bottom in 1 and 2. Cardwell changes it up. He tries to get the momentum off the corner. Can't get there yet.
3-car battle for the lead into turns 3 and 4. Justin Sherman, top of the racetrack. Second, 7. C. Cardwell is going to squeeze between C and the wall down the front straightaway. Give Cardwell the race, or for the 2nd spot, I should say, down the backstretch. Now looking for the lead. Here he comes to the inside slider for the race lead. Cardwell's got it for a moment. Sherman back around him on the outside.
2 laps to go in this heat. Hayden Cardwell showing he's got the race speed. This is what we were expected to start the season as Ducharme gets hit. Ducharme to the inside. Here comes Cardwell for the send.
Cardwell tries the bottom. White flag is out for Justin Sherman, trying to win his first heat race with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, but he's got Cardwell all over him. Down the backstretch, does Cardwell make the move? He's going to look to the inside, nearly tag the inside wall up the racetrack's going to slide him. Oh, they get together and wreck across the line, and Evan C. is going to get the win.
Oh boy. That's going to be a major discussion there. Justin Sherman just fell out of the feature spots because of that. Wow.
Wow. Evan C. will win it. For now, Hayden Cardwell is 2nd, Gregory LeMay in 3rd, and from 7th to the transfer, it was the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. 1 spot out, unfortunately, the 0Z of Justin Sherman. Then Jeremy St. Louis, Chris Sabeski, and the 25 of Tyler Ducharme rounding out the field in heat race number 4. Now, we don't waste any time here. We're right into our first last chance qualifier. 12 laps, and just the top 2 will transfer on. On the pole, it's going to be the number 4 of Ross Kaiser, and to the outside, the 69 of Shea Palo.
Then right behind him, Clayton Tilley will start alongside Rowan Gray. Keep an eye on Gray. He was pushing hard at the end of his heat.
Then you look at row number 3. That's where you're going to find the 76 of Braden Shute. And to the outside, the 22 of Mason Hannigan. And, during those heat races, we did find out there, Justin, that Mason Hannigan's father, Randy, actually did race here when the World of Outlaws in real life came to Bristol. He actually finished 19th in the A-Main in 2001. I want to thank Brett Wheeler, our buddy from Ultimate Dirt TV, for giving us that fact.
And remember, a driver from the series last season. J.D. Brown, meanwhile, will start in row 4. Gavin Cardwell starts alongside him. And Landon Cardoza is back from his incident, his heat. He'll start shotgun.
Yep, so 9 cars, 12 laps, top 2 heading to the main event. And as you can see here, Justin, this track is really starting to form up very nicely. Saw Cameron Merriman make a little post down here inside the racing server, and he says that it's definitely looking pretty good. As we take a look Only a few more days to get in on this sale here, Justin. The Black Friday sale going on now through December 5th. So you got about 6 more days to get in on that sale. And it's 50% off of new memberships and I believe 25% off of renewals. So if you are already a member, 25% off of renewals. I know I've already gotten my subscription renewed there, Justin. I'm not sure about you, though.
I actually haven't yet, but maybe I should. Maybe I should top off until 2026.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. I mean, 50% off and 25% off. I mean, that's a heck of a deal. You go to iRacing.com/Black Friday to take advantage of that. And then, hey, maybe in a few months we'll see you here in the Pro Series for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. As Space Truck pulls off, we're just about ready for last chance qualifier number 1. Ross Kaiser, Shea Palo, front row. Green flag is out. Palo does not get going right there, and Clayton Tilley immediately goes by him into the transfer.
Powell looking like he's struggling still out of turn 2. Finally gets into a rhythm to slide to the bottom. This track getting really racy. Many of the drivers expected it more towards middle to top line, the preferred group, but it looks like all the grooves have worked their way in. This is something the drivers would love to see and are happy to see in half the field. Every line starting to get working here at Bristol.
Yeah, it sure is. The track is shaping up very nicely. Race leader into the wall in the front straightaway. Ross Kaiser banged off the wall, keeps it going, but now Clayton Tilley's going to look to the inside down the back straightaway. Tilley does not do anything yet. Going to hang on to the second spot. When he does that, though, the 69 Apollo is all over him down the front straightaway.
A lot of hard fighting. Keep in mind, top 2, as mentioned, transfers. So for Clayton Tilley, defense is going to be critical. Shea Powell trying to set things up. Goes a lane lower this time. Tilley nearly into the outside wall. Powell was there. More contact for Kaiser down the front stretch.
Oh boy, this is going to get crazy here in the last 7 laps of this last chance qualifier. Race leader Ross Kaiser. Second is Clayton Tilley. Third is Shea Palo. Fourth is Rylan Gray. And fifth is Mason Hannigan. The top 3 nose to tails to come across the start-finish line. Here comes Tilley to the inside.
Tilley with the slide. Big park of the bus this time. Kaiser's now boxed in. Shea Powell's got a good chance. He now goes to the bottom. Side by side for second. Tilley holds on to the point. Powell with a great chance down into 1.
Ross Kaiser goes from the penthouse to the outhouse in about a half a lap. Now back into the inside of the transfer spots. Move Kaiser back to the outside of Palo. Side by side for second. That is the final transfer position to tonight's feature event. Clayton Tilley's got the lead. Kaiser second, Palo third, and now Rylan Gray starting to close in on all of them.
Back up towards the top, everyone this time. Rylan Gray looking for a window at opportunity. Gray nearly knocks the wall down. It's Mason Hannigan also tries the bottom. Everyone back up to the top now. Right up against the wall. 3.5 laps to go. Powell trying to build up a run.
Palo's got to hope for another mistake out of the 4 car of Ross Kaiser. You see Palo right up next to the wall as it looks like Rylan Gray might have tapped the wall right there off of turn number 4. Mason Hannigan not able to take advantage. As I say that, it looks like Palo just slowly but surely creeping back in on that 4 car.
Well, we have enough time to try and pounce on Ross Kaiser. Kaiser back in a rhythm. Kaiser a little bit loose, though, hit a bump. All while they're fighting hard for 4th position. Mason Hannigan trying to move up right past Rylan Gray. In just about does. Well, Powell's going for the send. Powell to the inside, coming to the white flag.
Palo gets into the slick, gets sideways, going to lose a car length down the front straightaway. Final time around Bristol here at the last chance qualifier. He's got to run down the back straightaway. Where does he go with it? To the inside goes Shea Palo. He's going to try and make a big move to the inside off of turn number 4, but Ross Kaiser is going to hang on by just a half a car length. A valiant effort by Shea Palo, but he comes up just short by 66 one-thousandths of a second. But it will be your race winner of Clayton Tilley and Ross Kaiser going to the back of the feature event as we get set to go for the final last chance qualifier of the evening. It's going to line up like this. So number 5 of Braden Eiler. He'll be on the pole next to the 0Z of Justin Sherman.
Then it's Carwin Cure. He represents Kligerman Sport this season. He'll start alongside Jeremy St. Louis and his 1 car.
Out of Dover, PA, it's the 01 of David Allen. He will start from 5th. And the 21 of Chris Sebeski. He'll start from 6th.
Clayton Davies starts in 7th tonight. He'll start alongside the number 25, who looks to recover from some physical contact for the battle for the transfer last heat. He'll start in 8th.
Out of Auburn, Washington, your 9th starter is the 33 of Lane Stevens. And out of Naperville, Quebec, Canada, the 91 car of Felix Roy. He'll roll off from shotgun on the field in 10th position. So once again, 10 cars, 12 laps, the final 2 positions to tonight's 35-lap feature for round number 3 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series here on iRacing.com. And, you know, we got a few moments here, Justin. Why don't we show the people the prizes that are up for grabs here in this season? If you're watching for the very first time, you probably wouldn't know that it is $10,000 to win the championship in this series. And you see second place, $4,000, $2,000, $1,000, and $500. $100 to run 10th in the point standings, and you see right there the race winnings on the right side column.
Yes, indeed, $300 per race win, $200 for second, $100 for third place. And keep this in mind, Chase. Talked with a couple drivers before the season, and they mentioned every prize counts when it comes to performance in this series to help them with their real-world ventures. So expect a lot of drivers to fight hard all throughout the season for the top 3. Bergeron in particular mentioned the importance of trying to get another championship.
Yeah, he's already won $30,000 off this series alone, and he's made more in the late model series, and even I believe he ran the Rallycross series. So Bergeron definitely made a lot of money off of iRacing as the green flag comes out here in last chance qualifier number 2. A little bit of a stack up on the start. Not sure what happened to Carlin Cure right there, but he gathers it back in there. 3 wide mid-pack.
St. Louis drives right on by. Cure gets bounced around like a pinball on ball. Here it comes. The middle run for Ducharme. He loses spots as they fight hard on the Hornet's Nest.
The top 2 are liking what they're seeing behind him. Your race leader, Braden Eiler. Second is Justin Sherman. And they're wrecking down the back straightaway. Chris Sebeski, I should say, in the 7 of Carlin Cure get together. The green flag stays out as a couple of cars bounce off the front stretch wall. Felix Roy and Clayton Davies able to gather it back in. But now the race for second, the one I'm going to watch for, between Sherman, Ducharme, and St. Louis off of turn number 4.
Absolutely incredible racing now towards the middle of the Hornet's Nest still. Ducharme, he's still pushing hard. Remember, he's got good speed to try and transfer here, Chase. Just got into the situation of turn 2 in his heat that bounced him to the back. He's now going for third, near contact with St. Louis.
Wow, the bottom is really good in 3 and 4. If you can get right next to that inside wall, Ducharme gets in the slick right there, loses some positions. And now here comes St. Louis. He'll try and work the inside of the speedway in 3 and 4, trying to get by the 0Z of Justin Sherman. And you can't have a little bit of a soft spot here for Sherman after what happened to the heat race there, JP. I'm sure there's a couple people watching at home tonight rooting him on here in this one.
Absolutely. Ducharme going to the inside wall. He bounces up the racetrack. A huge mistake for Ducharme. He bounces off the outside wall now. And there goes all the rhythm Tyler Ducharme had. All of it is gone.
Yeah, now Jeremy St. Louis, at least he does not have to worry about Ducharme. He can run his own race and try and track down the number 0Z of Justin Sherman. It looks like Sherman actually closing in on your race leader, Braden Eiler. The last time by, Sherman with a 14.480, Eiler with a 14.550, so Sherman nearly a tenth of a lap faster that time by.
Remember Justin Sherman before that very rough ending to his heat, let's put it that way, showed great speed the entire time out. He's got a chance to be one of the drivers who could charge for the pack as long as he survives for the next 3 laps. He's still looking to try and win this LCQ, though. Eiler looking like he's going way too high up out of turn 2 several times in a row.
And Eiler nearly got the wall off of turn number 2, able to gather the car back in, still leading with 2 to go this time by the number 5 car of Eiler, trying to punch his ticket into the feature event with Sherman just not too far behind. And now it looks like St. Louis is losing some ground, so Sherman looking to make his first feature event of the season. It's looking strong here right now as he only has to make it one more time around the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Top 2 have not made a single mistake this entire run. Eiler makes a little mistake there, but these drivers look to try and make it through one more set of corners.
Checkered flags in the air. Your race winner will be the number 5 of Braden Eiler. Then Justin Sherman. Those two going to the feature event. Tyler Ducharme actually comes home in 3rd. Jeremy St. Louis in 4th. David Allen in 5th. 6th was Lane Stevens. Then Clayton Davies, Carlin Cure, Chris Sebeski, and Felix Roy. The 10 starters, or 10 finishers, I should say, in that one. Well, now we've got all of our preliminary action finished. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back with tonight's 35-lap feature for round number 3 of of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series here on iRacing.com. Don't go anywhere.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Bristol, Tennessee, here at the Bristol Motor Speedway for round number 3 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship here on iRacing.com. My name is Chase Rodman, Justin Prince alongside. Justin, this racetrack is really starting to shape up nicely. We've seen the bottom really become a factor, especially in turns 3 and 4, and we've got some drivers looking for their first win of the season up front. This should be exciting.
I'm very excited to see how this plays out because I'll be honest, when it comes to the pavement side of things, Bristol's one of my favorite racetracks. And tonight, I think a lot of drivers have been won over when it comes to some of the racing here with the fact that so many drivers can change things up, adjust their wings to be able to run towards the bottom as well as up on the top, be able to pull off slide jumps. I think this could be in for another classic when it comes to tonight's feature. But the thing is, it's the question mark who takes home the victory tonight because this could go any direction with the speed shown by a lot of these drivers, including some of the newcomers.
Yeah, you talk about some of the newcomers starting towards the front of the field. Dylan Yeager, Timothy Smith, those two drivers, rookies to the series. And they will start second and third here tonight. But I want to talk about a guy that has been in the series for a couple of seasons now, but has not been able to get a feature win. Has so many podiums and things like that, but has never been able to get a win. And that is the 00 of Kendall Tucker. He starts fifth in this one, Justin. I think I'm going to watch for him in this race.
I think so as well because he made zero mistakes when it comes to his heat. Keep in mind, though, he ran his heat when the track was fresh, but now it's a matter of seeing how the drivers fare out together now.
Here we go. The 35-lap feature event for tonight's race at the Bristol Motor Speedway is on the racetrack, and here is how they will line up for tonight's race. On the front row, on the inside, he's out of Santa Rosa, California, the K1 race gear, Bear Archery Dominator Designs, number 52, it's James Edens. And to the outside, a rookie contender from Hamilton Township, New Jersey, the Rocket Racing setup, Slick Apparel, Gross Designs, 48, it's Dylan Yeager.
The driver from the state of Missouri will try and bring his 1-9 machine from third to first tonight. It's Timothy Smith. While Evan C. looks to go back-to-back victories from Chesney, South Carolina, he drives for Victory Lane Racing.
Row number 3 on the inside, fifth starter from Mount Airy, North Carolina, the Swindell Speed Lab, K1 race gear, Bear Archery, number 00, it's Kendall Tucker. And to the outside, it's his teammate from Tracy, California, the Swindell Speed Lab, K1 race gear, Victory Fuel 74, it's Adam Elby.
Ellicott City's Maryland-based driver of Cameron Merriman looks to start from row 4's inside, while Hayden Cardwell brought fireworks at the end of his heat race. Hayden Young Missile Cardwell from Knoxville, Tennessee looks to win in his home state track from row 4.
Row number 5 on the inside, 9 starter, the winner of the opening round of Volusia Speedway Park. He's out of Asheville, New York, to represent LTD, Reliable Energy Solutions, NL Performance number 127. It's Blake Majulis. And to the outside, currently 5th in the point standings from Manchester, PA, the Slick Sim Sport. Keller Contracting 129 Promotions 41. It's Logan Rumsey.
From Drummondville, Quebec, it's Alex Bergeron. He'll wheel the number 12 machine from row 6. Gregory LeMay will start alongside him. LeMay resides from Birdsboro, Pennsylvania.
From Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, the Tony Stewart Racing Scott King Designs 1-9 design number 18 of Austin Selman. He will start from 13th. And to the outside from Millersburg, Pennsylvania, the Evils Up Sim Sport Personal Evolution Company. More Than Tires, Catch Finch Apparel number 85. It's Tyler Shell.
From Woodford, Virginia, the privateer race driver has showed great speed. Aiden Speedy Beer Line starts from row 8. Still alongside the number 91 machine, it's Arnie Williams Jr. for Black Diamond.
Row number 9, 17th starter from Perth, Western Australia, the Momentum Sim Sports, SpeedShop51.com, Tiltec Racing Products. Number 51 is Clayton Tilley. And to the outside, from Franklin, PA, the Elbows Up Sim Sport, Roofco Indy, Wicked Brands, BS Airlines. Number 5, Braden Eiler.
2 more drivers will start tonight. The number 4 machine, Ross Kaiser, will try and use the turbo from San Jose, California. And the driver many have their eyes on after what happened in his heat race. It's the 000. Justin Sherman looks to drive from the back to the front from the shotgun position.
That's your field for tonight's 35-lap affair. We'll take a look at our Black Friday sale once again here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this wondering, how the heck can I get in on iRacing? Well, right here, 50% off of new memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a deal you just cannot resist. Also, 25% off of renewals. If you are already a member, 25% off of your new membership now through December 4th. You can go to iRacing.com/Black Friday to take advantage of that deal. Now, down the back straightaway, the drivers in 2x2 formation. They'll get the green flag this time by off of turn number 4, and we'll be underway for the very first time here at the Bristol Motor Speedway with the dirt on top. It's round number 3 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship on iRacing. Off of turn number 4, James Edens is on the gas, and we're underway.
And a picturesque start for James Edens, driving to the bottom to start things off. 2-3 wide in the heart of the Hornets' nest to start. Kendall Tucker amongst those trying to block the lanes, all while Timothy Smith runs to the inside in the battle for second.
Good run early on in this one for Timothy Smith, up to second now in the 86 car. Third spot at the moment looks to be the number 48 of Dylan Yeager. He's followed by Kendall Tucker and Adam Elby as they work down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Caution.
And it's towards the back. Ernie Williams Jr. amongst those involved. First caution of the night. Gregory LeMay in the 99 was also involved. And some dump brakes and some hurt feelings potentially there, as it was in the midst of the Hornets' nest where they were running 3 wide off the corner chase.
This might be one of the longest flips in the history of the World Championship Series for the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. He flips off of turn 2 and doesn't stop to the entrance of turn number 3. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. You see the contact, and Williams just flipping. He doesn't stop, and he finally does stop midway through 3 and 4. His night will come to an end, and it looks like the 99 of LeMay was able to keep his car fired, but definitely a lot of damage on that machine.
At the very least, Williams Jr. will lose a lot of time trying to get repairs done with the toe. Dump break for him in the early going, what's not been the picturesque start when it comes to his season. But I'm very curious on how some of the other drivers capitalize on this, or for some of the others, how they now have to try and defend as a result of this caution flag, because Eden's got a great start, got some separation, but now, will he do it again?
That is definitely the question I'm asking, because it looked like Timothy Smith right there, right before the caution came. I know we only went 2 laps, Justin, but Timothy Smith was all over James Edens prior to the yellow coming out. And, you know, if this trend continues of rookies winning, Timothy Smith can make that continue on here. Obviously, it's his first season along with Dylan Yeager, so second and third could possibly keep that trend going of rookies getting a win. That would be absolutely unbelievable to see that happen. Obviously, James Edens, though, he has been in this series since its inception back in 2018. He is a veteran. He's got multiple wins in this series, a couple of podium runs in the championship, and Edens trying to get his first win of the season here as the pace truck. Not going to dive off quite yet. We're going to go one more lap, but it's going to be tough to get by the 52, I would say.
I think so, because keep in mind, Eden's third all-time in feature wins in this series, 6 total, and prior to last season, won in every single campaign. He couldn't find victory lane last season. Alex Bergeron is the only driver who's won every single campaign as a result. But I think if you're Eden's, you want to put yourself into the history books as the first winner of the last Great Coliseum in the series.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, there's no more bragging rights, I would say, than being able to tell everybody that you won an iRacing Pro race here at Bristol for the very first time. Well, see if he can hang on here. The driver out of Santa Rosa, California, going to try and do it. The pace truck is off. Eden gets a great jump over Timothy Smith, leaves him in the dust. Smith is 4 car lengths behind, heading into turn number 1 as the field gets back up and running. 3 complete, 32 to go from Bristol.
Coming up towards the top line, Timothy Smith preferring that cushion this time, up around the top. Just about everybody's trying the bottom now. Dylan Yeager trying to lead that Pied Piper line. Kendall Tucker, several more, continue to work on down. Only Timothy Smith is trying the top right now in the top 10.
And it is working as he's all over James Eden's off of turn number 4. And I feel like the top of the racetrack has just gotten so sketchy right now, Justin. You cannot make any mistakes up there or you will be in the wall. But Smith says, I got nothing to lose here except for, maybe a second place run. He's going for the W, but here comes the 48 of Yeager to the inside now.
Dylan Yeager not able to clear on by. Looking like Yeager continuing that momentum from last week. Kendall Tucker boxed in behind. Cameron Merriman also fighting hard. Hayden Cardwell started this run up on the top as well. He's now progressed up to that cushion as well. He's got the run for 5th.
I'm not surprised to the 07 of Cardwell up on the top of the racetrack. There's nobody, I don't think, better in the sim on iRacing at running a cushion than the 07 of Cardwell, and he's making his way towards the front of the field. Started 8th, is now up to 5th. As we look back up front, Timothy Smith once again just about a car length and a half behind James Edens.
Here's a look once more at that. Here comes the run from Timothy Smith. Keep in mind, last time by, separated by 1/100 of a second. Edens had the quicker of the 2 laps, but average pace, it's been Smith with that advantage over the past 5. Smith trying the top again. This time, Edens with a bobble. Can he take advantage? Yes, he can. Side by side for the lead.
Side by side for the top spot in the turns 3 and 4. Timothy Smith on the outside. You've got a new leader down the front straightaway. And Timothy Smith trying to make it 3 rookies in a row to open up the 2021-22 season for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. That would be an unbelievable feat if he can hang on to it. And he's pulling away from James Edens down the front straightaway.
Look behind him, meanwhile. Cameron Merriman has already dropped back to his starting position in 7th. A very bad run for the 17 so far, compared to Hayden Cardwell, who's up to 5th. You also have Alex Bergeron. He's not even made the top 10 yet, the 12.
Yeah, he started 11th and is still in 11th, pinched behind the 85 of Tyler Schell and the 127 of Blake Majulis. So got to keep our eye on that, as well as Timothy Smith up front, who is pulling away now from James Edens. This is absolutely incredible to see these rookies having such great success early on in the season. But like we were talking about, Bergeron back in 11th, now up to 10th. But Cameron Merriman right now, where he's running, I think might take the championship lead if he can hang on to 7th and Bergeron stays back there.
This season has been wild, let's put it that way, so far when it comes to the comers and goers. Merriman is still defending well to Tyler Schell, keep in mind. All while Evan C. is trying to find a way back around Hayden Cardwell. So many battles popping up. Kendall Tucker nearly popping the wall coming out of turn 4. Holds up Cardwell this time. All while Schell wants that spot around Cameron Merriman.
Yeah, Tyler Schell looks strong on the outside of the racetrack as they work back into turns 3 and 4, trying to get by the 17 of Cameron Merriman. Merriman slides up in front of him. Schell tries to turn to the inside. Merriman gets a piece of the wall down the front straightaway. This is the battle for 7th right there, as well as the 33 of Evan C. trying to roll the middle. And then you see right behind them trying to close in the 41 of Rumsey and the 12 of Bergeron.
Now Merriman's coming up to the top line to try and defend. Here's a look from Bergeron. And you can see how calm he's keeping things, talking with his crew, trying to find any space to pass. Problem is, he's boxed in, trying to change up the line now, and he's bringing Blake Majulis with them to the bottom.
Great onboard shot from everybody watching at home right there. Great job by our iRacing producers to give us a good look at Alex Bergeron trying to make his way through the field. Your running order, caution, as I was about to say that, the yellow comes out for Clayton Tilley as he is upside down what looks to be in turn number 2. The 51 car also involved. You see the 74 of Adam Elby is there as well. Elby able to keep going, but Tilley is stuck on his side, and that will probably be the end of the night for that driver.
And tempers flaring, I think, from that because Elby got turned around. Keep in mind, at turn 2, 3, 4 cars at least, nowhere to go. There's the contact right in the path of Tilly and company, and a hard lek for Elby will probably end off his night, potentially Tilly's.
That's rough right there. Elby was just running his own race and looked like he got a hit from behind, and nothing you can do with these types of speeds. But can we just talk about what has happened here in the first 3 races? I mean, this is something we have never seen before, Justin. If Timothy Smith can hang on, I can't reiterate this enough. 3 races so far and 3 rookies winning. This series might be the most competitive it has ever been.
Yeah, and remember, we talked about this last season. Would we see the change in the guard? In the end, the veterans were the ones who took a majority of the wins. This year seems to be that change into the guard because so much talent is coming up through the iRacing ranks when it comes to official racing, when it comes to league racing. And for a majority of these drivers, keep in mind, several of the leagues follow the schedule for this series to a T as well, which gives many drivers the chance to try and figure out how they perform against these cars used for this race tonight. In our words, that's proving to be such valuable knowledge and valuable resources for some of these teams to be able to learn from one another and learn to improve, that we've seen so many of these young drivers take advantage and be able to show they can win too against the veterans.
Yeah, these rookies, you know how hungry they are to try and perform well. You know they've been putting in a lot of practice laps, like Timothy Smith, like Dylan Yeager. But we heard James Edens last week in his victory lane interview, or his top 3 interview, I should say. He said he hadn't even ran a race at this racetrack with the 410 sprint car. So, you know, he had to put some laps in here getting ready for Bristol. And I think Hayden Cardwell also mentioned that he really didn't have a whole lot of experience at this speedway with this race car. So the rookies, I think that practice has really been paying off. And these veterans, you know, they're having good runs. Edens in 2nd, Cardwell in 5th. But, man, I'm just so impressed with this new crop of drivers that has come on board this season. And they are really making a name for themselves and hopefully making some fans for everybody watching at home on iRacing's various social media platforms, everybody watching at home on Dirt Vision as well. It's just been so fun to watch and call these guys winning races and talking to them. That's my favorite part in Victory Lane, to hear these guys after they win their first race. That's one of my favorite things about doing this gig, Justin.
Especially the emotions brought on forward for some of the drivers in particular. Remember some of the emotions with the start of the late model series last season when it came to a first-time winner there. I'm curious what the emotions would be like for someone like a Timothy Smith or a Dylan Yeager if they can come away with this one, but there's still half a feature to go. And a lot can happen, and not just talking about cloud cover.
Yeah, you mentioned half a race to go. We've got 18 complete and 17 remaining, so just past the halfway mark here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Pace truck, the lights are out. We're going to go green this time by Timothy Smith, and the 86 will set the pace. James Edens in 2nd, Dylan Yeager in 3rd off of turn number 4. Smith comes down the hill, leads him into turn number 1, gets a good jump over the 52 of Edens.
Decent launch. Edens now trying to play defense using the middle line. Dylan Yeager files back in. Kendall Tucker, though, has been peeled off the top line. Hayden Cardwell with a good run. Right up along the outside along the cushion. Move Hayden Cardwell up 4 spots from his starting position. Tyler Shell was also on the move. He looks for a +7.
We got a race for the lead down the back straightaway. James Edens at the inside of Timothy Smith. Tries to throw a slider. He does so. Smith back to the inside down the front straightaway. And Smith will lead that lap by just 3/1000ths of a second. Edens back around on the outside, side by side down the back straightaway. Contact for the lead down the back stretch.
Trading tire-to-tire contact. Timothy Smith trying the bottom again. 2 loose through the slick. Here comes Yeager. A run for Edens. He takes the point. Off through turn 1. 3 wide for 2nd. Hayden Cardwell now joins the fray.
Hayden Cardwell now up to 2nd, getting by the 86 of Timothy Smith. We remember back to the Volusia Speedway Park, and Cardwell didn't even make the A-main event, and now trying to drive from 8th to the win here tonight. He's still got plenty of time to try and get by the 52 car of James Edens. 12 laps to go this time by.
Something's going on with Timothy Smith's car all of a sudden. He is falling apart. He cannot get back into a rhythm. He's falling back to 3rd, and it's still under attack. He drives to the top, nearly spins it out through the slick. Here comes Dylan Yeager. Look at the Hornet's nest behind. They're pushing and shoving to find a way around him.
Yeah, something must have happened there under that yellow for Timothy Smith. He's falling apart worse than a $2 lawn chair from Walmart. He's going to look back to the inside of the 48 of Yeager, gets back by for third. What a move right there. And just as I say that, he was falling back, and he drives right by Yeager and has found something on the inside.
I think right now that may have been the chance right there, saying, okay, we're falling apart here. We have to try something different. Remember that inside, the very, very inside line working. He's found that line again. That is the note-taking from Cure coming back into play.
Man, there is so much grip down there. Timothy Smith nearly pulling the front wheels up off the ground, and he's going to go right by Hayden Cardwell. Smith now back to second. If he can get a caution, Justin, I think he's got something working so well down there, he might be able to get by James Edens.
He's going to have to be careful as well when it comes to how close he's getting to that attenuator to the pit wall on the inside. Having his dark field cone. He's got that line working with 7 to go. This is the exact same line Carl Cure used in his respective heat, but Smith has made sure to use it even quicker now. Closing up more. Edens now going down low to defend.
The previous lap, Timothy Smith was 0.3 faster than James Edens. Edens back to the top. Smith really nails the bottom right there, and now 2, maybe 3 car lengths behind down the front straightaway. Timothy Smith a 15.014 to James Edens 15.153, and here comes Smith now within 2 car lengths down the back straightaway.
Great chances here. Edens has now picked this up to the point where he's playing major defense. Smith had to back off the gas. 5 laps to go. That lost Smith some time. Smith again nearly gets there. He hits the yellow cone.
Down the back straightaway, Timothy Smith clips the cone. James Edens is tight. They're both tight, trying to get off the bottom, and that might be all she wrote as Smith got really loose off the corner. Still 3 laps to go, and Smith very, very good off of turn number 2, Justin.
I don't know if it's over quite yet. Smith now moves up to the middle line this time. Starting really backing on down again after how dangerous it was.
He's out of fuel.
And he's in trouble. Yes, Smith is out of trouble. He's out of contention to the inside.
Timothy Smith runs out of fuel, or maybe the engine let go. I'm not sure. We stay green, and the yellow's out. The caution has come out with just 2 laps to go for Timothy Smith running out of fuel on the front straightaway. Wow, what a turn of events right there, as it looked like, I mean, that was just a roller coaster of emotions there. Smith was leading, he dropped back to 5th, got back to 2nd, nearly took the lead back, and then runs out of gas.
I can't believe it. Timothy Smith got the bottom line working the quickest out of anybody in the entire field. It's a dangerous game to play, mind you, with how close you're getting to that pit entrance cone, and how close you're getting to potentially getting an unsafe pit entrance call if you hit the cone in the wrong spot. Timothy Smith, in turn, then has the fuel back down, and I think he realized it a little too late with how hard he was pushing that there was no time to get the fuel back in his way. He ran out of time, and now this could get hectic for this win.
Yeah, and I think a part of the reason Timothy Smith even went to the bottom in the first place was he knew that he wasn't going to make it on fuel, so he was trying to run the bottom, the shorter way around the track to save fuel. But once he realized how fast he was, I mean, he had to put the pedal to the metal and drive as fast as he could and just wasted even more fuel doing that. So I think that's kind of why he dropped back on that restart, was he was saving fuel, and then he went to the bottom and realized how fast it was. So my question is here, who goes to the bottom on this restart? Because it did not look like James Edens liked what was going on down there. His car was not handling correctly. He went back to the top where his car was fast. We'll see if Hayden Cardwell tries to go down there, or maybe the 48 of Dylan Yeager can pull one out of the hat here and make it happen.
Honestly, I think we see the craziest finish of the season so far. Potentially of the decade in this series, because I don't know what we're going to see coming out of turn 4, coming to the checkered flag here. Will we see a massive send coming off the corner with contact? Will we see someone go for the full-on slider? Will we see someone try to park the bus? There are so many different methods I think we're about to see here, but it all comes down in part to the launch for Edens again. Edens has been picture perfect on the starts, and he's built up a decent buffer over the course of 2 laps. He's been reeled in quickly after that 2 laps, keep in mind, but here's the thing. He's only got 2 laps to work with. So there's a decent shot Edens can try and defend, but it's all going to come down, I think, to one chance, one turn 3 and 4 send for someone to take it away from him.
I will be shocked if nobody tries the inside of the racetrack here, inside the top 3. If nobody goes to the inside, I'll be amazed. because Timothy Smith at one point in time was 0.3 of a lap faster than James Edens. And remember, I mean, I know he ran out of fuel, so he was probably a little bit lighter, had a little bit less weight in the car, but still, I don't care about that. That inside was so fast, especially off of turn number 2. He got down so low, he clipped the cone that is the designated part where you have to enter the pit area on the back straightaway for the pavement track. So I really, really think we'll see somebody here in the top 3 try that and maybe pick up a spot. If it's Cardwell, he might try and make the move for the race lead, but we have seen Cardwell fast on the outside, so I don't know what's going to happen, and I agree with you there, Justin, that this could be maybe one of the wildest finishes of the season. It's already been one of the wildest races we've seen so far this year, so we'll see what happens, though, because the pace truck is pulling off. 2 laps to go. James Edens will lead the field off at turn number 4. Hayden Cardwell with a phenomenal restart right there.
Cardwell trying to jump it further than Edens to the point where he tried to close out that gap and force Edens to go. Cardwell with a good chance to pounce. Caution out.
Oh, no. That was not what Hayden Cardwell needed right there. He had a phenomenal restart and looked like he was going to put a move on James Edens, but the caution has come out, and it may have involved Cameron Merriman, the driver currently second in the point standings. We'll have to try and pull up a replay, but I believe Merriman, yes, somebody got wrecked up towards the front of the field here, Justin.
Yeah,
it was
you're
Bergeron
right.
and Evan C.
And yes, you're right. Right off the restart, coming through 1 and 2. Keep in mind that Bergeron and C, I think, got hooked together almost with how Evan C was trying to defend to the bottom. Look here and watch Bergeron dive to the bottom here.
Yeah, it looked like Bergeron was trying to force the issue. Evan C was going to the bottom and collects Cameron Merriman and knocks the nose wing off of the 17 car, so his car will not be handling all that well here to end this one. Merriman and Bergeron, however, are able to maintain their position because they were not actually spun around in the incident, so Bergeron now in the 4th position, and Merriman will be in 6th. Unfortunately for Evan C., who was having a phenomenal run once again here tonight, was running 4th at the time, is going to go way back to maybe around the 16th position after that accident.
Here's the problem for Merriman. Look at the front of his car.
Yeah, no nose wing.
Missing. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be very much hampered as a result of that contact and essentially having that happen with no chance to react with it right in front of him. But we're getting ready for what could be an error-crazy restart here to decide it.
Yep, the pace lights are out. We're going to try it one more time here. And Cardwell, if he can get that restart again and time it just right, well, man, I think that the cards are in his favor because he can go wherever James Edens does not. He's got that luxury, so Edens really going to have to play defense here if he wants to pull off the victory tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. He leads it. Cardwell 2nd, Yeager 3rd, Bergeron 4th, and Logan Rumsey in 5th down the off of turn number 4. They nearly got together, and Edens got a phenomenal restart right there.
Coming through with one more chance. Edens with a great launch. Cardwell will have one big send. Yeager 2 loose to pounce.
And Bergeron goes around the outside, and here we come to the checkered flag. Your race winner will be the 52 car of James Edens. He will win the inaugural visit for the World of Outlaws and NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. He's followed by Hayden Cardwell, Alex Bergeron, Dylan Yeager, and Logan Rumsey. Will round out the top 5 here tonight after 35 laps of action on the high banks here in Bristol, Tennessee. There he is, James Edens, his 7th career victory with the series, nearly putting him in a tie for 2nd all-time with Tim Ryan. With 8, he's got to get one more to get that tie, but here is the top 10 feature results. It was Edens, Cardwell, Bergeron, Yeager, Rumsey, then Blake Majulis, Cameron Merriman, Justin Sherman from the LCQ up to 8th. Good run for him. And then Austin Selman 9th and Kendall Tucker 10th.
11th spot tonight goes towards the direction of Aiden Beerlaw. He started in 15th, a good position gainage for him. Ross Kaiser also picks up several spots to finish in 12th. Ty Rochelle, trying to get some rhythm together, finishes in 13th position. Clayton Tilley in 14th. Bryn Nyler finished in 15th tonight. Evan C., after that hard contact with Bergeron, ends up dropping to 16th. A big tumble in the points for him. LeMay, Smith, Albie, Williams Jr. round out the runners.
Those were your 20 finishers here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Now we're going to take a quick break and come right back, and we will be talking with our top 3 feature finishers here tonight. That was Edens, Cardwell, and Bergeron. You're not going to want to miss these interviews. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. We are now standing in victory lane with tonight's winner for round number 3 of the World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship here on iRacing.com. That is a driver out of Santa Rosa, California, the 52 car of James Edens. James, last week we were talking to you on the podium, and you said you hadn't even ran a race here with these cars. You didn't know what to expect, and you come out of this one with a victory and $300 heading your way. Nice job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, yeah, like I said, I didn't run a race all week. That was still my first time on the track. So, the track was really good, really racy there. Timothy Smith made me work for it a lot, I was telling the guys before the race that, it kind of sucks being on the pole and leading because, you don't know when the lines are going to come in. And, we definitely had to, fight him off. And, I looked like for a minute there he was going to just run away with it on the top. But, it kind of came back to us and we were able to hang on.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing. I feel like we haven't seen many times in this series where a guy gets out front, he pulls away, and then the guy in second tracks him back down and passes him. I feel like that was kind of just a different pace and a different vibe from this race altogether.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely sucks being the guy getting run down and passed. But, I think that just, showed how good the track was. And, they made a good call to not do any track work to it there and change it for the feature. It definitely was a good time. And, we had a good race, I think.
Well, lap 33 restart. How much of a breath of fresh air was that when a relief, I should say, when the caution came out and Hayden had such a good restart? He probably didn't know where he was going to go, and the yellow came out. How relieving was that to see?
He got a really good restart on that one. So it was definitely a good good thing to get another chance at it the second one where I think he got into the back of me a little bit and that kind of killed his run on the start and let us get away. But the caution on lap 32 to begin with was definitely not what we wanted to see. We had a nice little gap and we could have just cruised to victory, but it's all part of it. And we survived 2 late race restarts and came away with a win.
He sure did. 7th career victory with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing.com. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
James Edens wins here tonight at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Second was the 07 of Hayden Cardwell. He drove from 8th up to the runner-up spot. He's talking to Justin Prince.
Yes, indeed. First things first, Hayden. How did you feel about the track progression tonight? Because there were some who were wondering how it would fare out. Some expected more so a top groove track. But we seen the bottom come in quick for the heats, or rather for the feature.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever we didn't get a reset this week, I think it threw everybody off. We were all expecting for that track prep to come in and, get us more of a tacky racetrack, but they just decided to let it roll over tonight. Just like James said in his interview, I think it, provided some of the best racing that you're going to get at Bristol, and it worked out good for everybody, to come from 8th here. I think it's a really big accomplishment. Just a little bummed out we couldn't get James there on the first green white checkered. We had a run off turn 2, but just wasn't meant to be tonight. And I want to throw some apologies out to Justin Sherman for the heat race. Totally messed up there.
Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit about that with some of the physical contact. But in terms of tonight, one of the main things was it's been a rough start to the season for you. You came into tonight tied for 15th after 2 races. How much does this mean to you knowing it's still early, yes, but this is one of your best finishes, in fact, the best finish you've had this season?
It has been bad. After week 1, we were kind of just bummed out. That's the first pro race I've ever missed in my World Championship career. But I think last week we finished second, and this week second. So it's a big reliever to know that we still have speed. I don't think there's any way we can get to the championship. But just to keep good runs, and hopefully we can make it. My goal is to make it back to top 5, and hopefully we can come up with a win. I've really been dying just to get a win this year. So if we can get a win, I'll be happy.
Curious on this, the next race is Eldora. Your thoughts on that circuit, a track you've performed fairly well at when it comes to sprint cars, in regards to last season, I should say.
I think everybody thinks, it's probably just going to be up on the top at Eldora. Track prep might come into a factor there as well if we get a reset or not. But like I said earlier in my interviews in the past, I haven't been on as much as I would like to anymore. But just, like I said, shout out to all the guys at Slick Sim Sport and the Speed Lab guys for putting in all the hard work for me to come on tonight, just a couple hours before and providing me with the best setup of the race. So can't thank those guys enough. But, Eldora, I think that everybody knows me of just push and cushion kind of guy. So well, I'm looking forward to that one.
Congratulations on the podium tonight.
Thanks, Justin.
Hayden Cardwell coming home in second tonight. Alex Bergeron finished in third this evening after a lot of contact towards the final parts of the race chases with him.
Yeah, Alex Bergeron started 11th and came home in third. Alex, a little bit of a rough night, did not get that qualifying effort you needed, and then a wild finish in the heat race and started you mid-pack. Were you worried at a track like this? It's so very fast, and I feel like a lot of unknowns heading into the night. Are you pretty surprised to come home with third?
Well, we were for it. We got a good car tonight. I don't know, for qualifying, we were on the perfect lap, but didn't seem to work like that. But, we'll take it. Come third place is really good. So just move on to next week and do even better.
Obviously, a lot of people in the chats on Facebook and things are asking about what exactly happened between you and Evan C. From my point of view, heading down the front stretch, it looks like just two guys kind of going for the same spot on the speedway late in the race. So was that kind of how you saw it as well?
Yeah, I seen a guy come down and just try to take a spot that's not there. You open the door down the front straightaway, and same thing happened with Blake. So it's pretty obvious, but we held our own and we ran the bottom, and we kept our line, so we have nothing to be worried about for us.
Well, Alex, now we head into, I guess tonight was the start of, 4 half-mile racetracks in a row. Obviously, I feel like in seasons past, we haven't really had that. It's kind of been a big mix of, a short track, then a big track, then a short track. How are you approaching heading into these next 4 weeks with just really all big, fast half miles?
Just to be consistent as much as possible, just like tonight. We did our best and just hold the car as straight as possible and have good speed. And anything could happen in these bigger tracks, so we just have to be, like I said, consistent and for the best.
And one more question here, a bonus question. We were talking on the broadcast earlier about how this could possibly be what seems like the most competitive series we've had so far with the sprint cars. Timothy Smith nearly winning tonight as a rookie, and then obviously the last 2 weeks with rookies winning. Would you say, being a guy that's been in this series for every season, would you say this is probably the most competitive it's been?
It's tough to say. We're definitely quick, and I think we're the fastest guys out there. So I don't know.
All right, well, Alex Bergeron comes home in third this evening. Another podium run for the driver out of Canada. And Justin, wow, like we said at the top of the show, we weren't really, sure what we were going to see here this evening, but I think we all got a great show nonetheless.
It exceeded my expectations, I'll say this much, and I think it exceeded plenty of drivers' expectations on how the line progression could come out tonight. It put on one of the best races so far this season, if not in the past couple seasons, with so many comers and goers, so many drivers throwing their hat into the ring to battle for the feature race wins, so many storylines popping up. I'm curious how the next race, though, fares out at Outdoor, because it moves over towards a lot of the bigger tracks and the meat and potatoes of the schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Volusia Speedway Park, Blake Majulis, the winner there. Kokomo Speedway, Evan C., the winner there. Bristol here tonight, James Eden's the winner. Then next week we head off to Dora, like Justin mentioned earlier on, talking to Hayden Cardwell. Then we go to Williams Grove Speedway in Pennsylvania, Knoxville Raceway in Iowa, Cedar Lake Speedway in Wisconsin, Fairbury in Illinois, Weedsport in New York, and the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway in North Carolina to cap off the year. And we're going to have to wait to see how the points shake out, but I would have to think that Alex Bergeron definitely probably gained a couple on Cameron Merriman. He finished a couple spots ahead of him. So Bergeron definitely getting those finishes, those consistency finishes he was talking about, and really padding that points lead. But James Eden's, Hayden Cardwell, both heating up here recently.
Keep in mind, though, Bergeron essentially has been the only driver who's really been able to keep himself in the top 5, if not near the top 5 at the end of these races. Merriman was one of his lower tier finishers in terms of running at the end at 7th. I think this season could be a little bit different, not just with the change in the guard we've seen so far, but the battle for consistency. Some of the top drivers who have won so far, they've struggled the next week or the week prior to their victory. Can someone get consistency down is the big thing if you want to win this title.
Well, if they're going to do it, they need to do it in a hurry. We're already 3 races complete out of 10. And next week, we head to the Big E, Eldora Speedway for round number 4 of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Championship. And that's all we've got here tonight from Bristol, Tennessee, and Thunder Valley at the Bristol Motor Speedway. My name is Chase Rodman. Thank you to Justin Prince and Tyler Maxson in the production truck. We'll see you guys next Monday night at Eldora Speedway.